So I want to talk about Prismatic Evolution's pull rates and how they will affect prices of products and the cards. So if you watch any openings of Prismatic Evolutions or just watch any videos just generally about Prismatic Evolutions, everybody's saying the same thing. That the pull rates are terrible for this set. It's not worth opening because it's too hard to pull anything. And I've just heard this being said about just all these channels just saying the same thing that Prismatic Evolutions is hard to pull anything. Now I've mentioned this before. I feel like this is blown out of proportion, and I have a couple of reasons why I believe people are just saying that it's hard to pull anything, which I feel like is not really true, and I'm gonna get to that right now. So here's a picture from you know this subreddit. You can see it's from 2,700 packs. This data of the pull rates, and I guess I don't know if this is the person who actually got the information or whatever, but this is the pull rates from. I believe this is 300 ETBs. If you want to convert it, I don't know exactly, what products they open, which is another thing you could talk about because I know, I guess in the past history, some products seem to have better pull rates than other products. I don't know if that's always true, but it seems like people talk about that. So I don't know exactly what products they got these pull rates from, but here are the pull rates from 2,700 packs. Now, when you actually look at these pull rates compared to other sets, specifically the SIR, it's actually pretty easy, right? Because you compare this to Surging Sparks, this is a lot easier. I think Surging Sparks, the pull rates for SIR is like 1 out of 90 packs, so it's a lot easier in Prismatic Evolutions to pull in SIR. It's 1 out of 53 as it seems here. Obviously, when the set gets released and we actually have a lot more data and people open a lot, like hundreds of thousands of packs, we'll actually know the real pull rates. But based on this, it doesn't look that bad. But I want to talk about the illusion and why so many people are just, saying that the pull rates are bad. So the first thing is the absence of illustration rares. So this is the first set that has Master Balls, Pokeballs, in where I guess in replacement of illustration rares. But it seems like the Master Balls and Pokeballs are not enough to satisfy the dopamine hit of hitting an illustration rare. Because, especially Pokeballs, they're not that hard to hit. They're actually pretty easy. You see the Master Balls here, looks like it's 1 out of like 20 packs, which I don't think is terrible. But the fact that, there's no illustration rares and, it's missing in this set, it just seems like people really miss that, and these Master Balls and whatever can't really replace that hit of an illustration rare. And I feel like also what has to do with it, which I'm going to get to next, is, I guess people wanting to chase specific cards in the set. Because obviously, this is the Eevee set, right? But I've seen people pull Master Balls and Pokeballs and stuff, and it seems like when people pull these cards, like Master Balls, Pokeballs, and it's not an Eevee Lucian, like people don't seem to care too much. And it's the same thing with, just SARs. I've seen people pull SARs in the set, and they weren't evolutions, they were maybe ogre pawns or something, and people seem disappointed. And it just for the set, it seems like people are having this illusion because, like I said, there's no illustration rares. And then the next thing I sort of touched on is people wanting to specifically chase certain cards, and when they don't pull it, they feel like they didn't pull anything, and then they're saying it's hard to pull because everybody just wants to chase evolutions. And you can't see here, with the specific card rate, it's 1 out of pretty much 1,700 packs to pull a specific SIR because there's like 30 something plus SIRs in this set. So if you're trying to pull the EVs, obviously it's gonna be a little bit tougher to pull. Let's say you want specifically this Umbreon, it's gonna be tougher to pull because there's just so many other SIRs you can hit. So to get your specific one, it is gonna be a lot harder. So I guess that's where people are having this illusion of a harder, the set's hard to pull anything. Because when you really look at it, it's not that hard to pull stuff. Like obviously specifically, but other than that, just to pull the rarity, it doesn't seem that difficult. And the only really difficult one it seems is this hyper rare gold. I think there's 3 or 4 hyper rare gold cards in the set. 1 out of 152, yeah, that's crazy. But other than that, for SARs, like everybody obviously want to chase, the evolutions. It doesn't look that bad. And I want to touch on pull rates and how they can affect prices of the cards and products, because I feel like with easy and hard pull rates, it can kind of go both ways in terms of, the prices of cards and specifically products. So, the argument could be made with easy pull rates that it could, you know, increase the product prices because if the pull rates are easier and it's like an EV set, right? People will be more willing to open up product to chase the cards if it's easier, if the pull rates are easier, right? So an argument can be made there that easier pull rates could increase, product prices because people will open up more if it's easier to chase them, right? But another argument could be made with easy pull rates that it'll decrease the product prices because there's going to be more supply of the cards, right? And I guess maybe in that way, less people will open up product and just maybe buy the cards and not go for that chase of, hoping to pull some evolution or whatever. Because if it's easy and there's a lot of supply of these cards, I know there's a lot of demand for the set and a lot of these evolutions. So I feel like for this set, maybe easy pull rates don't really matter, but it could be argued that easier pull rates could actually affect the, product prices and everything negatively just because maybe people won't be as, wanting to open up or care to chase, the evolutions if it's easier. Because, we see sets like Crown Zenith, right? In Crown Zenith, now the cards have really gone up, but it's not like there's $1,000 card in Crown Zenith, right? But look at a set like Evolving Skies, where the pull rates are difficult. There is $1,000 plus card. So in that way, you could argue that there's going to be a group of people willing to open up more because it's easier to pull stuff and they're just happy to get the cards. But then it can also be argued, with the easier pull rates, it can affect the prices negatively because the card price won't be as high, and therefore the product prices, won't be as high. So the easy pull rates, it can kind of go both ways with that. And I guess next I want to talk about harder pull rates. Let's say that this whole picture here isn't correct, and let's say the pull rates are maybe like normal sets, maybe like Surging Sparks, where it's maybe 1 out of 90 or 100. If that's the case, with hard pull rates, it's the same thing. It can really go both ways. With hard pull rates, it can increase prices of products, obviously the cards, because of scarcity and people wanting to chase that card. And if it's more scarce, more people are maybe going to be willing to take their chance and open up product, hit that huge chase card that's expensive, like we see with Evolving Skies. But then the other argument could be made, with hard pull rates, that maybe less people will be enticed to open up this set, and therefore, product prices may be decreasing because there's not as much demand for people to want to buy and open up the set because maybe it's just too hard to pull and people aren't willing to take that chance. So you can see here, it can really go all ways. I'm more on the side of scarcity would really, in hard pull rates would really, increase prices just because of what we've seen in the past with prismatic evolutions. And you can see with, Crown Zenith, for example, there's not $1,000, card in there. And therefore, product prices, for Crown Zenith, they've been obviously going up. So maybe that's not the best example, but for the longest time, they were pretty cheap. So I just want to talk about pull rates today and just how they affect, prices of products and cards, and kind of just my thoughts about the pull rates with this set. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.